Hello everyone, my name is Muhammad Ali Mado. Today our presentation will be about parallel database. Our outline: what is parallel database system? Parallel processing. Why parallel? Parallel goals. Parallel architecture. What is parallel database system? Parallel database system is improved performance of data processing using multiple resources in parallel. This resource may be multiple CPU or disk where it is used in parallel. Parallel database system performs many parallelization operation like data loading and query processing. This picture shows us a parallel database system. What we mean by it. Here, if we have a many user, those users have a network or interconnection channel. We mean by parallel database. We can share and using multiple processor, memory, and data storage. Parallel processing. What we mean by parallel processing? Parallel processing. Many operations are performed simultaneously as opposed to serial processing, in which the computational steps are performed sequentially. Here, for example, if we have a one query and this query executed in serial processing or parallel processing. In serial processing, this query it will executed as a single large task, where in a parallel it will break down in a small task, and each component of task it will executed on a separated node for multiple independent tasks. In a serial processing, it will complete a serial task just for a single resource. We mean by it just one processor we will execute this task, so that it will execute it at sequentially. At the first, it will execute the task 1, and the task 2 will wait. After finished the task 1, the 2 will start, and so on. Where in parallel, it will execute it at the same time, where many processors maybe will work together to execute it. Why parallel? To divide a big problem into a many smaller ones to be solved in parallel. Like we see in the photo, if we want to scan 1 terabyte and our speed 10 megabyte per second, it will take from us more than 1 day. But in parallel, when we using a multiple processor and memory, maybe the speed of processing and executing this task it will increase so much, so maybe we will solve it at 1.5 seconds. Also, we use it to increase bandwidth. Here we mean to decrease a query response time, to executing a query at a short time. Also to achieve a parallel goals like speed up and scale up. Goals of parallel: speed up. Speed up it is extent to which more hardware can perform the same task in less time than the original system. Here we mean if we have two hardware, we will be sure that it will perform the task in less time than the original system. With added hardware, speed up holds the hold task constant and measure time saving. Like a following example. Here we have a task. Original system can execute it. Uh, can execute if we say is execute it at 1 hour. Here in parallel system it will execute it at a half hour because we have two pieces of hardware, and the tasks are divided to smaller tasks, so the two hardware will work in parallelly to execute this task. Scale up is ability of a system in time larger to perform a job in time larger in the same time period as the original system with added a hardware. A formula for scale up holds the time constant and measures the increased size of the job which can be done. Like this example, if we have a smaller original system, and here we have another parallel system, it's twice time larger than this system. Here tasks have been executed at the same time, same period of time, like original system. How we will doing that? By here, like we said, by added a hardware twice time stronger than the original system. Parallel architecture. Parallel architecture. We have three kind of parallel architectures. The first one is share memory system. Second one, share disk system. And the third one is share nothing. So let's coming to explain the first one. What we mean by share memory system? We mean by share memory system, we have a multiple processor that is attached to global memory by via interconnection network or interconnection bus. Here, share memory system have a large amount of cache memory at each processor, so the refreshing of the share memory is avoided. Here we mean each processor have a large amount of cache memory, so it's avoid to coming and working in the global memory each time. If a processor perform a write operation if a specific location here the data inside this location have to be changed or removed. Here a share memory advantage. The data easily accessible by any processor because they have the same memory, shared memory. Also, one processor can send message to another efficiently. The disadvantage of the memory share memory system, waiting time of processor is increased due more number of processor bandwidth problem. Here we mean how much the processor is increased number if number of processor is increased the waiting time is increased to bandwidth problem. Here we mean the task maybe take a long time to execute it. The second kind of parallel architecture is shared disk system. What we mean by sharing disk system? Sharing disk system is use multiple processors which are accessible to multiple disks via interconnection channel, and every processor has a local memory. Here we have many processors. Each one have a local memory. Are interconnection with a via or a mini disk. Each processor has its own memory, like we say. The system built around this system is called a clusters. Let's coming to advantage of sharing disk system. fault tolerance is achieved using shared disk system. What we mean by fault tolerance: if processor or its memory fails, the other processor can complete the task. Here we mean if one processor is failed or if one memory is failed, the another processor can complete its task. Disadvantage of shared disk system: shared disk system has a limited scalability as a large amount of data travels through the interconnection channel. Like we say, have a limit scalability to transform the data. If more processors are added, the existing processors are slowed down. Here we mean if we increase the number of the processor, the processes are slowed down. The third kind of parallel architecture is sharing nothing disk system. Here, each processor have its memory and disk. Processors are interconnection network or channel. Processor enact as a server, which is the data is stored on local disk. Advantage of sharing nothing disk system: number of processor and disk can be connected as per the requirement in sharing nothing disk system. Also, shared nothing disk system can support for many processors, which makes the system more scalable. Disadvantage of sharing nothing disk system: data partitioning is required in sharing nothing disk system. Cost of communication for accessing local disk is much higher. Here, by disadvantage, we mean here is data it's have be parted. Also, the cost is higher because we need more bus to connection in disk and memory. Here our presentation are finished. Thank you for listening.